Ready to roll, ready to roll, ready to roll. Red October, Philadelphia Phillies baseball. Jack, I am really excited for Phillies baseball. But before we get into any of that, we have an awesome, unique episode here at Not For Long Media at the Colin Thompson Show. Those that follow the show know I like to mix things up. No, I'm not just a football guy. I try not to be, at least, because that's not really who I am. We try to have different people on. So expect a staggered lineup for the rest of the season of someone not in football, somebody in football. Obviously, it's easier for me to get some football people on because a lot of my buddies are in football, and we've done that, right? Earlier in the season, you've seen a heart of our interviews and material will be all football. But we're going to mix things up. We have Matt Atkinson coming on from Lost Boys Creations in Key West, Florida. Matt and I become buddies because I just kind of went into his shop one day and loved his product. His hat is all over Key West. It is the local's choice. That is for sure. Every band that comes into town, they're rocking his hat. They have an awesome studio in there. They're a former really surf shop, skateboard shop, apparel clothing shop now on steroids because their apparel is just taking off with their awesome logo. It's Lost Boys Creations. Check them out online. They ship all over the place. They have awesome material, awesome product, great logo. Absolutely love what Lost Boys got going on. So Matt Atkinson, check them out. They're the hats I wear into the game pretty much every week. So if you're looking for the link, just go pop on my Instagram and I have them all tagged through there. Lost Boys Creations. Matt Atkinson's joining us today. He tells a story, an unbelievable story to make it in the apparel business with just a logo to now what he does is really, really impressive and really, really hard to do. We sell apparel here at Not For Long Media. It's really, really hard to do. So shout out to Matt. Shout out to Lost Boys Creations. You guys do a freaking kick-ass job. And this interview was awesome. Again, part of the summer series. Summer series is starting to wind down. It helps me get through the early part of the season when we're really busy. I do 5-10 interviews, and then we kind of sprinkle them in throughout the season. So Matt joined us in the summer, late July, and we're putting it out now. We're recording October 11th. Like I said, Jack, Phillies baseball's here. You got the Sixers hoodie on. Basketball season's on the way. NHL is back tonight. MLB is back playoff-wise tonight after a little bit of a break. So I'm jacked up for the Phillies, man. I know you are as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome seeing every Philly sport sort of thrive. And even though the Flyers aren't thriving, I was listening to, I forget his full name, I believe it's John Tortorella. I know he called Torts, the Flyers head coach. He brought in a lot of basically a breath of fresh air into the Flyers. I'm not super into hockey. I just know it's kind of been a mess. They need to shape things up. But he talked about like not bringing in Johnny Gaudreau. He's like, we need to fix this thing from like the top to the bottom. He basically said it would basically be putting like lipstick on a pig, essentially. He didn't say that verbatim, but that's how he said in the interview. And it's nice to see that like people are sort of like starting to clean up what was going on with the Flyers. And Phillies are the best that they've been over a decade. Eagles 5-0, Sixers, the hype is there. James Harden's the guy, so it's exciting to see
about James Harden today. I was scrolling through The Athletic. If you like sports, guys, and you like subscribing to things and paying a little bit of money for it, the best bang for your buck is The Athletic, in my opinion. I think I saw a headline. James Harden says he hasn't gotten credit for the act of selfness, but focuses on winning.
I saw that. I read it on Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report had the exact same headline, and they pulled a quote, and that's like not really what he said at all. He just said the people in the media don't like respect him, and that's fine. He's just not going to mention it. He's going to keep going. He didn't really. I could be wrong. It could have been mentioned in the article, but the quote that I saw that was pulled in reference to that didn't even mention anything about the contract.
Yeah.
So I think that one might be clickbait on that, to be quite honest.
Take it all with a grain of salt. Folks. That's that's kind of the world we live in when it comes to media. What's really going on in the building? Pulling quotes is not really what's going on in the building, in my opinion. We're going to leave it there. So. Yeah, man, an awesome episode today. Obviously, we have Matt coming on from Lost Boys Creations. Lots to talk about. MLB playoffs is really something I'm jacked about here. We got the Phillies game coming on at 1 o'clock. We're going to get to under the bus in the MLB. You bet. Jack and I are throwing you under the bus. But there's a lot of matchups going on this week I'm excited about. Really, just scrolling through it, excited for this Padres-Dodgers series. Two really good teams. Obviously, Padres are missing some really good players. That's a matchup that I'm looking to watch. The NFL slate this week, just team versus team. Awesome games. There always is, but there's like a half dozen of them this week, maybe more. And then the ones you don't expect to be amazing games are always amazing game. So a lot with the NFL schedule. The one game I circled is Niners-Falcons. Kyle Shanahan going back to Atlanta. I'm sure they've been back to Atlanta since he's been the head coach of the Niners. But, you know, their game this week, obviously we lost to them in Carolina. And then they stay the week at the Greenbrier. I think it's a Greenbrier or the Whitebrier. I think it's a Greenbrier up in West Virginia. They stay the week there. And then they fly to Atlanta and play the Falcons instead of going back to the West Coast. So that's a little tidbit. I was able to, you know, talk to Mike McGlinchey after the game, a buddy of mine. The matchup of Burns versus McGlinchey was a good matchup for sure that we talked about this week. It was cool to see them embrace after the game and know each other well and have a lot of respect for each other, which is really cool to see. And that's the part of the game that doesn't really get talked about or notarized. But just everybody kind of being friends and kind of part of the same mission here is to win football games and, you know, make some money, support your family, and get the most out of this game. That's a wonderful, wonderful place to play. So, yeah, Padres or Dodgers, something I looked at. Niners and Falcons, something I looked at. The whole matchup that people are making a big deal about this week in Philly, of course, is Jason Peters with the Dallas Cowboys. And just come on, man. Like, it's over. Like, I saw some graphic of week 1, they beat a former Eagle on Detroit, and then week 2 they beat Doug Peterson or whatever. Week 3, and then this last week they beat Ertz. It's like they're taking them down. Like, they didn't want to be in Philly. You think Doug Peterson want to get fired?
No, he didn't want to be. There's a statue of him in front of the damn stadium.
Zach Ertz scored like a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. You think he wanted to get traded?
No.
Right? There's maybe speculation at the end there, like, right, he wanted out, but at the end of the day, like, he wants to be a part of that team and that organization forever. Everybody wants to play one place forever. Don't get it twisted. They do. But when it, you know, gets whatever it happens at the end, it's time to move on. So, yeah, for me, there were some things I'm looking at this week. For, you know, not any real specifics, Jack, but a couple games I'm really excited about. But, you know, that segment is brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services matchup. But the real segment that I want to talk about this week, brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should. From Doylestown, Bucks County, where I grew up, all the way down to Cape May, New Jersey. They have you covered when you want to meet in person. They also literally across the country work with tons of people when it comes to financial management, financial planning, 401k, working with businesses, helping you with retirement. They've helped me a ton figuring out, you know, what I'm making with when the pension, when hopefully I might get my pension this year, and then the future, and then what we're going with. Am I putting my money in my 401k in the NFL with my current job, right? And then the conversation about having another situation, more long-term investments, short-term investments, the market's down, all these conversations, they're important. And to have people like Paul and Dave and their team, over 100 years of experience in that office, you can't beat it. So matchups this week and the sports business update this week. Business Sports Insider here, Not For Long Media update, is brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. And that's over our friends at Fanatics. They're making waves. Again, the Business of Sports Insider update from Not For Long Media is brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. And like I said, it's Fanatics. Chairman Michael Rubin and his company, online sports gambling outlet, by next football season will be in states where it's legal other than New York. New York charges high taxes. He made the comment at the Sports Business Journal World Congress of Sports meeting this morning. That was a brutal read for me there, horrible read for me there. But that's from the Fanatic and Daniel Kaplan. Essentially what's going on is the Fanatics now are moving into sports gambling. Fanatics, Michael Rubin sold a part of his team, a piece of the team he owned with the Sixers. I think he sold it with the Devils as well, so he could get more. I think
it was all of Harris Sports and Blitzer.
Okay, so he sold out of everything that he's involved in, assuming you make the transition into some gambling stuff. So now he's in literally everything. They have sports gambling. They have merchandise. They're all over. They're official apparel of everything. So just Fanatics, I thought, talking about Wealth Advisory Services and how good they are, talking about a business of sports, and that's the Fanatic. That's Fanatics of what they've been able to do and really dominate the apparel business, dominate now. They're going to get into the gambling business that it seems like everybody's involved in. So, yeah, interesting things from the Fanatics and our friends over Wealth Advisory Services, wealthadvisoryservices.com. Are you a Michael Rubin fan? You must be, right? His Sixers, very visible.
I don't. I'm not. I mean, I don't like Fanatics. I have my reason. I don't like their quality of their products. I am a jersey purist. I don't know if you knew this much, but it's not as much anymore because I've started to get older and I'm like some of the age of some of the players. I have a bunch of jerseys. I have like over 50 some jerseys. So I love my old retro stitched. I just hate the fact that their jerseys are such low quality. The prices continue to go up. And then the Mitchell and Ness, who's historic, Philadelphia based, historic for making such quality vintage throwback jerseys, were bought by were bought by Fanatics, and the product quality dropped immediately very much. So, I mean, I'm just from the jersey perspective of it. I'm sure Michael's a great guy. He's incredibly smart businessman for everything they're doing with everything. But just from the jersey side of things, not a fan. And I'm sure he doesn't even have say over that. I'm sure
what's your no, listen, Jack, listen, it's a business, bro. It's okay. He's involved in everything. You can be upset. We can disagree on the show. We don't need to pat everybody on the back. I pat everybody on the back, Jack. You can do that, but we're not going to when we throw people under the bus. But no, I mean, what's your favorite jersey you have, Jack? What's your top three?
I got football. I have an Ocho Cinco Bengals. It's pretty clean. I have a Deion Sanders Falcons. And I'm trying to. I got an old. I'm trying to think of my number three. I got a Billy Cunningham Sixers one. I think that would round out my top three.
Okay.
So I keep it retro. I don't really have any new ones. The newest jersey I've gotten is I have a Jalen Reagor Equals jersey. I got in August for $5 at a thrift store. That's my newest jersey purchase.
Okay. Hey, I love it, Jack. It's always good hearing from you. That is our sports business update brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. That's our matchup brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. Not the players this week, more the games. There's a lot of great games going on. Obviously, there's so many matchups that are awesome inside those games. All right, so bus one this week, Jack, brought to you by Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Starting to get a little warmer outside. Got some pumpkin fudge. Pumpkin fudge, Jack. It is unbelievable. We had it shipped down this week. So good. They'll ship it to you guys. fudgekitchens.com. Shipping across the country. They make it fresh. It sits there. It goes right into the USPS box after being wrapped up. Boom. Sent. Overnighted. Absolutely love what Fudge Kitchens got going on. So our Bus One member this week, brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, is Travis Kelce. How can he not be? 4 touchdowns last night. The guy's an absolute monster. The guy's been doing it for so long. He's the best receiver in the NFL. Receiver. What does that mean? Wide receiver, tight end. He's the best receiver of the football in the NFL. He has been for years. All my buddies are giving me crap for taking tight ends. Listen, they feed the tight ends the same. If you have 10 catches from the tight end position, you have 10 catches the wide receiver position, what's the difference? You can make the argument, too, that tight ends are targeted more in the red zone. There's more points when they score touchdowns. So it's my tactic every year is to take the 2 best receiving tight ends and put them on my fantasy team. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, it was Kittle. It's a lot of different guys, right? Who is it? Darren Waller. So there's a lot of really good tight ends in the league. Tons of them now. Tons. Teams have 2 or 3. So blessed to have a job, Jack. Blessed to have a job. So my bus one member this week, brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, is Travis Kelce. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud. He's been doing it forever. He's just an awesome dude from what I hear on, off the field. A bunch of my buddies went to the tight end youth thing, and the guy said, everyone said that he's absolutely electric. So, I'm looking forward to meeting one day. Maybe have a good time with him one day. Maybe do tight end U one day. I'll be going just as someone to have a good time, Jack. I will not be invited to the actual event. You got to hit certain criteria to make that event. I don't know if I'll make that. But, bus one member, Travis Kelce this week. Anybody else stood out to you this week? Anybody on the Eagles game that you like, man, that person, because I know you're watching the Birds. Anybody stand out where there could be a bus one member this week?
I mean, Jalen Hurts is just a consistent bus one person for his mentality. Just despite the win, nobody's thinking negative. He's I got to be better. I got to continue to be better. We got work to do. He's just such.
That's what drives me crazy about Philly fans and Philly media. The guy's always been like that. That's all people want from Philly is high effort, production, steady every year, and high energy, right? The guy's an unbelievable leader. I just didn't get how they thought the whole narrative this whole offseason was, is he the guy? Is there even an argument? Who else?
Nobody. It's over with now. I mean, everybody was maybe Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson went to Cleveland.
It has nothing to do with any other quarterback. It has exactly to do with the type of guy Jalen Hurts is. Look at his track record. The guy's a workhorse. Absolute workhorse. So Jalen Hurts.
I mean, it's incredible. The QB sneaks is what I mean, the man squats like 600 pounds or deadlifts 600 pounds and hit the QB sneaks. He's averaging like 3 or 4 yards a carry. Like you could legitimately make an offense off of just the QB sneak and they would be effective.
If there was no risk of injury, right? Of course, he would be playing running back and he would throw it and he would run it and he would light people up. Now he can throw. It has nothing to do with like, oh, he plays running back because he can't throw. But he's so big, he's so strong, he's so fast. He would play running back too, right? He could play quarterback and running back.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, like his arm is shot one day, he can move the running back and be just fine and play in the NFL.
Yeah, he's so athletic, such a freak of nature.
Yeah, he is. All right, Jack, we are at our favorite part of the show, and that is under the bus. Jack, who are we putting under the bus this week?
The Major League Baseball is getting thrown under the bus for their absolutely terrible scheming of postseason playoff gaming timing, just in general, the scheduling of games. I didn't even realize how bad it was. I texted Jay this. I'm like, the MLB wonders why they're not getting more viewership, more popularity, and then they go and they do this stuff.
Guys, check out our show, Breaking Bats. Justin Ayers, Brian O'Grady, Ryan Ripken is going to be joining through the playoffs as well. He's been on the show. Fantastic. Obviously, the big last name there, but he has nothing to do with the last name. He is well-spoken. He's had an episode with the boys before. He's fantastic. You guys are absolutely going to love Ryan, Brian, and Justin. 2 episodes a week, Jack, we're going to now, which is awesome because of the playoffs. It's playoff baseball. It's Red October for the Phillies. But I'm sorry, Jack. You think it's bad? It's about to get worse from you. I'm about to tell you how bad the MLB is with their scheduling, okay? And, guys, Under the Bus is brought to you by our friends over at Mia Amici, the best Italian food in the Charlotte area. I said that to my buddy Nick, who runs the place. He's like, we're the best Italian food in the world. What are you talking about? We're the best. They are the best, guys. Unique appetizer, unique food, family-run business. Beautiful. The weather is gorgeous in Charlotte. Every day has been 70, sunny, and the mornings are like cool, like 40s, 50s. And to eat outside on the porch is great. They got 2 big screen TVs in now there. We're watching college football. We're watching NFL football. We pop in there 2-3 days a week. It is the best Italian food, best atmosphere. There's light stuff. They have the best huge salads if you just want to go lighter, salmon, shrimp, whatever you want to put on top. And then they got the heavy stuff, the chicken parm, all those delicious meals. Mia Amici, the official sponsor of the Colin Thompson Show and the Under the Bus segment. So, Jack, the MLB, throw them under the bus. We got to take them to Mia Amici under the bus and feed them good, the best Italian food in Charlotte, because they need it. They need some good eats, Jack, to get their minds right because their minds are not right. Just let me explain this to you. So the Phillies are on at 1 o'clock today, Eastern time. Okay, fine. Horrible. But not as bad as I'm about to explain it to you. The Astros and Mariners are on. If you're in Seattle, the game is on at 12:30 for you. 12:30. If you're in LA for the Dodgers-Padres game, the game is on at 6:30 for you. If you want to watch baseball today in LA, the Phillies game is on at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? Put the games later. Make it work. Put the Dodgers game at 10 o'clock. Put the Mariners game at 9 o'clock. Put the Phillies game at 7 o'clock. And in the middle, put the Yankees game. 8 o'clock. So it's 5 o'clock on the West Coast. I get it. The Yankees are a huge brand. Put it 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It's so easy to execute. Stagger them an hour apart. So you can be dialed in on the one game. Stagger them.
Yeah. It's the most frustrating thing is the MLB, like you said, like the MLB right now is trying to do one game is just on at once, and then the next game starts. The NBA has it down to a science. I don't know why they don't follow the NBA playoffs when they're probably the ones that they want to mimic the most. I mean, they have half of the 8 games, whatever, on once, and they stagger them, like you said, one after the other. So after you're done the one game, you go right into the second half of the next one. I mean, that's what people care about. At the end of the day,
innings flipping back and forth.
Yeah, like the people that you're wanting to draw in, like the diehards are going to watch no matter what their time. The people you want to bring in are the casuals. The people that are trying to find something on, like go out to eat for. They're going to care about the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings. They're not going to care about the first 3. You know what I mean?
I think we want to meet you today for lunch to go watch the game. Seriously. It's oddly enough. We're throwing the MLB under the bus, and I think I'm going to go to meet you for lunch today. Just what are you doing, MLB? Like, come on, man. Everyone complains that it's archaic, and you have all these archaic minds. Guys, it's so easy. It's playoff baseball. Everybody wants to watch it. People can't watch it at work. mean, we're fortunate. I'm off on Tuesdays because of my job, but I work other 6 days, and I was in the office today for 4 hours. But like today's technically an off day. You're at work. People got to work. People are at school. What are you doing?
Now, did you see how much tickets are for today's game in Atlanta?
How
The
much?
standing room only, the cheapest ticket is $8 because it's a 1 o'clock game. Meanwhile, at Citizens Bank Park for game 3 or whatever, cheapest standing room only is $200 per
Great.
ticket.
And it's fine. People will pay whatever because it's such a great atmosphere. Like I would pay that because it is unbelievable. Like I went to a Phillies game years ago. It was Aaron Nola's first start with my wife when we just started dating. And I was like, Sid, this is great, but like, I don't know, this is really boring. Like the last time I was at a Phillies game was a freaking World Series game, probably before that, probably 3-4 years before that, whatever it was, 5 years before that. And because I went to college and I couldn't get to games and I was at Florida and all this stuff, but we went to a game when I was back at Temple. It's just a shame. Like the MLB, you're trying to get younger, you're trying to bring people in, and you do this. Like imagine Seattle, like they're so jacked to be in the playoffs. They haven't been in forever. I was talking to Jacob Eason, our quarterback, who's from Washington. He's like, dude, they have not been in since like 01. And they're playing the Astros at 12:30 on a Tuesday. You got to go to work. And you're in Houston. They have a great following. 2:30 in Houston on a Tuesday. What is happening? Horrible. I mean, it's just bad. Like my father-in-law watches every Houston game when he goes home, pretty much year round. He flips the game on. You got to work. You can't flip the game on. It's going to kill your ratings. There's going to be empty ballparks. It just blows my mind, Jack. It really does. It's obviously it grinds my gears, as RA Rear Admiral will say, because it's just easy to do. Don't make it hard, and don't beat yourself. And they beat themselves. So that's it, man. Under the bus, MLB. We shoved them under the bus, and hopefully they have some meat to snack on while they're down there, so they don't go hungry, Jack. Excuse me. All right. So this week, pour some out, Jack. We're going to pour some Sleep out. Promo code Colin, Som Sleep. Get Som Sleep, the best natural sleep product on the planet by far. Get Som Sleep. It puts you to sleep. It keeps you asleep, and you rise in the morning ready to go. Not that groggy stuff that you take and you're like trying to open your eyelids. No, it is natural. It is delicious, first off, and I absolutely love the product. It saved my career. I've talked about it on here many times before. So we're going to pour Som Sleep out. We're going to pour some out, Jack. Promo code Colin for David Robinson, the starting closer, I should say, the closer for the Phillies. His second stint in the Phillies traded for him from the Cubs. He was with the Phillies a couple years ago, had a bunch of injuries. He was celebrating Bryce Harper's home run in, I think, the first playoff game, I think it was.
Or I think it was when I thought it was yesterday or 2 days ago.
Okay, yesterday or 2 days ago, I'm sorry. He is jumping up and down, celebrating, and he strains his right calf. He strains his calf, jumping up and down. As someone who has a strained calf, they're not fun. They suck. But talk about bad timing. Bad timing. You are celebrating a home run and you pop your calf. Just absolutely devastating. I feel horrible for the guy. That's like a situation where there's nothing you can do. It wasn't like you're out and you're walking on the street and whatever. And, say they were out after a big victory and they had a couple of drinks and he like strumbled on the curb, no, like this one's like non-avoidable. Like you're just so excited. And then this happens. It's sad, Jack. Any thoughts? I mean, it's just brutal. That's the Phillies, right? All the Philly fans, that's our luck. I can already hear them. That's our luck.
It's so unfortunate just because, like I said, it's like the biggest game the city has had, or biggest series the city has had in a decade. Probably one of the biggest games in his career, and now he's sidelined just because he was celebrating his other team's success. Like you said, it's just an unfortunate string of luck. Hopefully, we've been past the Braves. Maybe he's healthy enough that he can take them out. I don't know how calf strain is as a pitcher and how much it would prohibit you out for. I know it can be like around a month or so at least. So maybe they just continue to progress far enough to which he returns, but it's not a devastating end for a season.
Depends how bad it is. I don't want to be a doctor here, but I don't know how bad it is. But I would say a week and a half, the earliest he can come back. He's not running a lot. So if he can walk out there and pitch, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Because he's just now, can he play off the mound, all that stuff? Can he generate the same amount of power? Or is he going to be a liability? That's the whole thing. So yeah, we pour some sleep out for David Robinson, the closer for the Phillies. That's their stud. They traded for it. He pops his cap. But you know what? Good karma. He was celebrating the right things. Just a shame. Just a shame. So, all right, Jack, as we wrap things up, again, really looking forward to the Lost Boys episode this week with Matt Atkinson. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And they have great products. Just check it out. Is our bar of the week. Our bar of the week, Jack. One of our most popular segments on here. I went to a new establishment this week in Charlotte, Jack. A new establishment this week in Charlotte. Mixed it up. Went after the game for some dinner, for some drinks. Had some friends and family in town. And want to just, kick back, relax, watch the night game. And we went to this new place called Caswell Station. Caswell Station is our bar of the week this week at the Colin Thompson Show. Absolutely loved it. Awesome outdoor seating, TVs outside, bar outside. Go inside, bar, big bar inside, high top tables, tons of TVs. The food is great. The manager was awesome, getting us set up where we needed to go. Just a first-class group. Like, this is going to get a really big rating, Jack. Really big rating. And I'm going to get into it in a second here, but I was just blown away with Caswell Station, the bar of the week this week at the Colin Thompson Show. The food and ambiance was awesome. It's like a house. It looks like a house. It looks like the old swamp in Gainesville. It looks like a house. And you get the windows open. You can be inside. You can be outside. You can go everywhere. Love that. So food and ambiance. I had the wrap. We had the wings. They were delicious and crispy, multiple flavors. A+. So food and ambiance, 5 out of 5. TVs were everywhere and big. 5 out of 5. And the key sometimes with the TVs, are they on the right channels? They had the MLB playoff game on. They had the NFL night game on. They had them alternated so people could watch everything. That was awesome. Music was bumping. Awesome. Loved it. 5 out of 5 on the TVs. 5 out of 5 of the food and the ambiance. The beers were not on ice, but the beers were cold. So we're going to go 4 out of 5. And the service was 5 out of 5. From the bartenders to the servers to the manager. Extremely accommodating. Extremely nice. A 19 out of 20, Jack. A 19 out of 20 for Caswell Station in Charlotte, North Carolina. Absolutely loved our time there. We will be back bar this week on the Colin Thompson Show. That does it for me. Jack, anything before we go?
Question regarding bar of the week scoring. Would you knock a point off of the TV if the TVs are delayed? Like if you're getting people tech, like if it's like you're watching the Phillies game, 20 seconds behind on the broadcast.
No, Jack. Only kids your age are like staring at their phone waiting for a text for their buddy. I'm like out enjoying the people I'm with, Jack. I may not be staring at my phone the whole time. No, I hear you, buddy. I'm just giving you shit. I think, no, they're not getting knocked. No, can't control that. Can't control that. Are you?
I mean, possible. The worst one was when we just went to Buffalo Wild Wings down the street for the Phillies game. It wasn't just because they were all delayed. The one above us was like the giant, mimics the scoreboard was on time, but the TVs below it around the bar were off by 15 seconds.
That's tough. So you got to watch 2 different things.
You got to crane your neck up like that, or you got to hear the people behind you cheering and then wait 10 seconds to see what they're cheering or booing about.
Oh, that's tough, Jack. I mean, I wouldn't knock them. But I wouldn't, I think at the moment I'd be like, man, this stinks. Yeah. It's okay. You get a replay. You can watch it and then get the replay right away.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good point. It's a good question, Jack. I mean, you're the hell of a question. You're a thinker. Just like your hat, nice hat, Actions Over Words, our friends there, actionsoverwordsapparel.com. Just first class. They're raising a bunch of money this month for breast cancer awareness. It is October. So check out their website. A portion of what is sold goes to that charity of choice, actionsoverwordsapparel.com. Matt Atkinson's joined us from Lost Boys. Really hope you guys enjoy that. We touched on the matchups brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. We talked about sports business update, Wealth Advisory Services. Bus One, FudgeKitchens.com. Check them out. Travis Kelce's a freaking stud. Under the bus, we just trashed the MLB and how they do the scheduling because the product's been great, but just get the scheduling right. Come on. I'm in Seattle. I'm so jacked for the playoffs. What time's the game? Noon on Tuesday? What are we doing? Me and Michi, they'll take care of him, though. They'll feed him. Nick will talk to him and give his 2 cents. He'll get the MLB right. That's for sure. We're going to pour some out. Tom sleep. David Robinson, get that calf right, brother. Bar of the week, Caswell Station, Actions Over Words. Thank you guys for all you do. I'm Colin Thompson. That's Jack Connell. I hope you guys enjoy the Matt Atkinson interview.